The following podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I guess that's it. We don't really have a cold open.
Nah.
That's it. That's it right there. That's the cold open.
Welcome to Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast, the only podcast to combine the subjects of gaming, tech, media, and puppets for no easily explainable reason. It is December 5th, 2025. You are the internet. I am Kevin Blades. My pronouns are he, him, and this is episode 16 and the last of season 3 of Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast. I'm now even more out of breath than usual at that point. Joining me is my co-host. His pronouns are he, him. It's Andrew, aka Bat Phantom.
Hi, everybody. It's me.
So we're doing this remotely because as some of you may be aware, we're heading into the holiday season. And Andrew is off on holiday season travels tomorrow morning. So we wanted to make it easy. So we just went, fuck it, do it remote. So yeah, that's
remote.
it.
We had a good run there of in person.
We did. But
Yeah.
You know, it's fine to do this every now and then. You know, I get to.
Oh, absolutely.
I get to not have to set up, which is always good.
Yeah.
I just had a casual dinner and, you know.
And I don't have a 1 hour commute to get home at the end of it. It's the Toronto story. No matter where you are, it takes you an hour to get to the,
minimum of an hour to get anywhere. Don't ever plan on anything less than an hour. That is absolutely true.
Yeah. And I wanted to give you condolences for being overlooked and wrongfully overlooked for the as the winner of the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize.
Oh, what did I realize? I didn't even know it was in the running. Wow.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
I had you on the short list, and I guess in the end they just decided that
Oh wait,
the Orange
did they give it
Bastard
to?
was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, who better to represent FIFA and the concept of what they think is a peace prize, and it is just fucking just.
So, well, no, it makes total sense, right? Because it's about cheating and toxic masculinity, forcing people to do what they want. That's exactly what that is. So there we go.
They gave him a large golden trophy. And he looked like a small child had been handed a large golden trophy. He saved tens of millions of lives through diplomatic interventions and had stopped wars happening just before they started.
Uh-huh.
God bless you, sir. God bless you today.
Let's talk to Venezuela about that, shall we? Because anyway,
tired. So tired. Everybody's tired. But the problem is they count on us being tired. That's part of it.
It is
They want us to
absolutely
be
part of it.
exhausted and stop fighting and just lie down and take it.
Yep.
And at least we can get grumpy about it.
The endless doom scroll is part of that. That is a tactic now, right? Like that is that feeds into what the evil want. So don't do it. That's my advice. Get off your phone. This is a bit of advice I actually just recently realized in myself, and it seems pretty obvious when I say it out loud, but one of the things that helps me cope when things seem this doom and gloom, and believe me, there's plenty of doom and gloom. Like, it's not about denying the doom and gloom, but it's about literally tinkering with your own brain chemistry so you don't succumb to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the endless doom scroll is, of course, just reinforcing that negative feedback loop.
Yeah.
And for me, at least, and I think this is probably universally true for humans in general, it's just like doing anything else that will work towards a goal. Building something doesn't have to be physical. It could be virtual. It could be anything. Working towards something and doing something else is the thing that will literally change your brain chemistry. Like, that's what the dopamine thing does, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the reasons why build crafting and theory crafting style games it is real good for that, because it makes you have a goal, work towards the goal, and then achieve the goal. And then that is a very positive thing for your brain, and it helps counteract the doom scroll chemicals. So that's
Yeah.
my advice there.
No, absolutely. It's all we can do.
It really
try,
is.
Just
because we don't have any other power.
It sucks that, I mean, the proper phrase is stay woke, and it sucks that that word was so poisoned by the fuckheads. But it had a purpose. It's a true fucking phrase. Stay woke, stay awake. Don't sleep on the insanity. Don't let it become normalized, because holy shit, are they trying to normalize it these days?
And this is one of the unfortunate trends in how human psychology works, is that we have a tendency to try and normalize. Like, we want to normalize things just because it's the Terry Pratchett quote. It's like Lord Vetinari saying people think they want a better life, but what they really want is for tomorrow to be the same as today. That is 100% true. They just want things to be normal. Now I'll quote Aleister Crowley.
Please do.
Safety is mortal's chiefest enemy. And I think that is part of that. It is part of like the whole, we need normal because we feel safe when things are normal, right? We can predict when things are normal.
Now, when I was teaching soft skills at the film school, one of the things I told everybody was, look, your worst enemy for your career is going to be comfort. You know, if you get a side gig to pay the bills while you're trying to become a filmmaker, and then all of a sudden you start realizing you've got money in your pocket and you're paying the rent and everything's going pretty good, and it becomes addictive, and you lose the hunger, and that's what happened to me basically.
Right.
I got comfortable, and that was pretty much it. And there's truth to it. I mean, I'm not saying make yourself suffer, but I am saying that, you have to be aware when the comfort is too much.
It speaks to the same point that I just made, is that you need to work towards a goal, right? That is the thing. You need to move forward and achieve things. That is what helps counteract the sense of doom and despair and helplessness, right?
Well, speaking of that, I threw this into the show notes just to have something, because we tend to be, shall we say, negative Nellies.
Who's we? Who's we?
I tend to be a negative Nelly here on the podcast.
Thank you.
And I wanted to mention some good things from this year.
Okay, good.
And, I mean, for me, I guess honestly, the highlight for me was my trip to Europe. I mean, obviously that was a big deal, and that's the kind of thing a lot of people will never do. I mean, we live in a world where it is a lot easier, I think, than ever to have a really great vacation for a fairly reasonable amount of money. But a lot of people just tell them, I mean, I'm blessed in that I have a job. I have a lot of vacation time. So I was able to take 2 weeks off in the middle of July and head off to Europe for a week, and then take a transatlantic crossing on the Queen Mary too, like a fancy boy. And it was an amazing vacation. Truly I am. And it was amazing. It was great to get away. And I do maintain some level-headedness about it, and how, a lot of people don't have that opportunity, but a lot of people just choose not to take the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's sad, I think, when people talk themselves out of going away, and you gotta pull the trigger sometimes.
And of course, why the reason that they often will talk themselves out of going away is out of fear, right? It's that. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's that this isn't what I know. This isn't the normal thing. So
not just that, but exactly. Getting out of your comfort zone. Exactly.
That's the lesson.
People value their comfort over being exposed to new and exciting things. But just, you can be smart about these things, but it's easy to be scared out of it. My counsel is to make plans and head out and travel the world, which is to say across the pond, or travel throughout Canada, or I don't know, Mexico, or everything south of Mexico.
Go somewhere that isn't catering to your learned culture. That too, yeah. I can speak to this because of the few travels I have done, of course, New Orleans being one of them. I really did have the first day we were in New Orleans for the first time, I had a moment of culture shock where it was just like, I had built up in my head what it should be like, and I was so afraid of it not being like that I was frightened of it. Like I got to New Orleans and I'm like, oh God, this is something's going to go wrong and everything's going to fall apart and everything's going to be terrible. And I got into the fear of it. Yep. And, I had a long talk with my spouse and she talked me through it. And then like that night we went to Preservation Hall for the first time and it was amazing. And it getting over that hump and sort of letting the thing be what it is and appreciating it for itself on its level rather than what you expect it to be or want it to be. It just opened up everything and it became a wonderful experience. One of the highlights of my life because I just got over that hump of fear of it not being the expectation and just accepting it for what it is. And it turned out what it was exactly what I wanted. Thought it was going to be in the first place. So, sometimes it works out.
Absolutely. So if you have the means, I'd highly recommend travel. Get your ass out there.
I would love to go. I mean, UK is always like, I know so much about the UK. Like I am like a UK archaeology like nerd, right? So I can talk to you about the fucking Iron Age in Devon and Cornwall, right? Like this is how things are. And I mean, at the moment it seems like I'll probably never ever get there, but I would sure like to. So, hey, you want to buy me a plane ticket to the UK sometime? I'll take it. We'll go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's lovely.
I did find one good thing before we launched the podcast. The story broke like literally a couple of hours ago. The original release of Star Wars: A New Hope, which was not even called A New Hope when it was released. Yes, indeed, there is a version of it that God saved, and they are releasing it in 2027 back in theaters because Disney's going, fuck, we need money because no one's buying our slop. So, fine, we'll release the original Star Wars in theaters again.
Here you go, nerds. You happy? You better make $1 billion off of this.
But anyway, hey, at least we get a theatrical release of the original cut of Star Wars in theaters again.
And the shout out to the amazing people working on those fan edits, the 4K 77 project and all of those.
Yeah.
The work they've done has just been absolutely incredible. And I'm sure whatever's coming will probably be on their shoulders, honestly. I mean,
for sure. Yeah.
It's incredible to see the difference between what the fans have done versus what Lucasfilm and Disney have presented. I mean, even just simple things like color grading on the current Blu-rays are pretty bad compared to the original prints.
Yeah.
And it's incredible that they've released these and said this is fine. But I mean, part of that's on George, and George isn't really
most
part of the equation
on George,
now, so.
Honestly. Dude.
Yeah, I guess he just overdid it for a lot of the
he seriously intentionally sabotaged the original cut because it wasn't to his vision, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Like he's always tried to hang on to it with much more control than you should have. And this is something as a creator, I think that everyone, who does creative work, at some point, if it outgrows their own creation, they have to learn to let it go, right? And that's something that George never could do. Was he had to always maintain control, and not good on that front.
But,
however,
thankfully we'll get a nice theatrical release in 2 years.
That's fantastic.
That'll be lovely. Year and a half. I think they said July.
So no, it's February 2027.
Oh, February.
So it's just over a year. Yeah.
That'll be totally worth something to look forward to.
Hey, see, this is the emphasis I want to play. We have a lot of doom and gloom, and that is true, and we are going to address it. But I did literally, like minutes before the podcast, I did think of an angle I think that we can end on that will hopefully at least not be horrible.
That's
it
important.
will present at least a path forward. That's what I'm looking for at this point.
Before we get into the positive, we should just take a moment to address the Netflix basically buying Warner Brothers.
That is in the show notes.
Is it?
It is in the show notes. That's the death of AAA gaming is what I put it under.
Oh, in the gaming side of it, yeah.
Because that is part of a gaming as well, or the Warner Brothers thing.
That's
is
true.
Right,
but yeah,
so,
the film side of it, it's a lot of people are obviously concerned because they Netflix has shown a lack of interest in theatrical releases. So, I just don't see that. I don't see that being an issue. Honestly, I think they recognize what Warner stands for, and they're not going to do anything insane with that. Also, there's a good chance this whole thing falls apart because a lot of people in power are going to fight this. They're not just going to let it go.
Are they? But
and,
like all people in power are in favor of monopolies. I thought that
well, no, I mean like
eating other
creatives.
companies.
Let's just say the creatives that are actually supplying material to Warner Brothers,
Who needs
like Christopher
them?
Nolan.
We've got AI.
Yeah, no.
They're the
It's-
least important people. Come on.
I was initially pleased because Paramount was the front runner for a long time, and
Mhm.
they're basically a MAGA company at this point, which is distressing. And but they were already making plans on who to fire at CNN when they got control of it. But I don't. My understanding is that this deal was just for the film side of Warner Brothers, and that they're still spinning off the TV side. So I think
yeah.
Ellison and his crew can still take the TV side, even though it's supposed to be a publicly traded company. But who the fuck knows? Just
What does
don't
that
stress
even
about
mean
it.
anymore? It's
Exactly.
just like, no.
Just
every
focus
company
on-
is becoming one company. And
Yeah,
it's-
and every creative worth their salt. If it looks like Netflix is gonna shit the bed, they'll just walk and they'll go somewhere else. There's always going to be somebody willing to make films for theatrical release.
Well, and
you
this
know,
is-
and
this is kind of leading to the angle that I want to get to is like it seems like because of all of this hyper consolidation that everything is becoming one thing and that there is no alternatives, but this is the soil in which the garden of alternatives grow is the way I will phrase it, and we'll come back to that later. But
yeah, and when
fear
they come down to, they try to threaten you and say, "Oh, you're not going to be able to make $300 million movies anymore without us." Good.
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
Let's roll it the fuck back and get down to a normal budget
You know what
again.
was a relatively low budget movie? Star Wars. Hello. So
No, it definitely needs to get rolled back to a reasonable stage. This casual $300 million movie thing is absolutely bananas.
Yep.
And it's got to stop. So we'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to mention it.
No,
because
absolutely.
I'm not panicking about it at all. A lot of people are.
It is part and parcel of all of the things that are happening right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to coping mechanism. I don't know if you have anything for coping mechanism. I do. Actually,
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay, why don't you go first?
I just want to shout out to Jake at Bright Sun Films.
Please add these to the show notes.
It's not a small channel. They've got over 1.6 million subscribers at this point. Jake's a Canadian. He works out of Ontario. He started up a channel just about. He wanted to talk about. Actually, it started with a Disney. He wanted to talk about abandoned elements of the Disney Disney World and Disneyland, and that was the genesis of it. And he got into other projects that were abandoned or canceled. I mean, obviously, it's kind of a negative center for the channel, but he makes really solid videos and he does good research.
It's a fascinating subject. I mean,
yeah. Well, his most recent one, he did a video on Nara Dreamland, which was a Japanese copy of Disneyland that opened up and was completely abandoned after a while. And he doesn't, sometimes he goes on site and he actually gets his own footage for some of these locations, but it is still fascinating to find the story of something that seemed like a no-brainer and it just kind of falls apart over time. Anyway, it's just the core of the channel is abandoned, canceled, and bankrupt. Those are the main stories. But he actually now has a travel channel, Bright Sun Travels, where he and his partner go on vacations, and he gives honest reviews of major. He was on the Queen Mary too, ironically, just a few months before I was, and he did a review of that. And he's a Disney guy, and he did the older Disney cruise line, which he really liked, and then he was on the newer line and just absolutely excoriated it. It was because he surgically destroyed it in terms of he knew exactly what was wrong, and
when
he
Jenny
was able to call
Nicholson
it
on
out.
their ass.
Yeah, I know, it was great. It was great to hear somebody like logically explaining why they've made big mistakes with the design of it. It's definitely worth listening to. I thought it'd have a lot more views. I'm just looking at it. It's at 800,000 views. But anyway, he's got it's just insane when you look at these. He was 1 million on because it was the Disney Magic, I think, that was the first one. No, that was the original one. Anyway, never mind. Bottom line is the Bright Sun Films and Bright Sun Travels for good Canadian content, but it's international material. So it's a nice worldly channel, lots of good stuff. So highly recommend.
Good stuff. Yeah, add that to the show notes if you please.
Yes, I'll do that now.
So my coping mechanism is so this is a bit of a spoiler for stuff we're going to talk about later in Pixel Town, but as y'all know, those of you who are around the internet, know that there's a certain type of gaming YouTuber that is a kind of cookie cutter, like the bro culture. Hey guys, what's up? Here's the thing. We're going to talk about the video game, etc. And there's a real sigh quality to that. So I've recently been playing a game I will talk about in greater detail later, Soulframe, which is a brand new game that is in alpha, which is from, yes, DE, the makers of Warframe. But it, of course, since we're in alpha stage right now and it's starting to open up to more players, there's not a whole lot of, quote unquote YouTube material out there right now, but there is one dedicated YouTube channel called Sarah Loves Archery. It started out as it shows Sarah's a young woman who is in fact an archer in real life, and who just really loves archery in video games. She started out sort of talking about archery in every video game she could get her hands on that had archery in it, and she loves it all, and for various reasons she talked about it. And then she hit Soulframe, and Soulframe's got a lot of archery in it, and then she just got completely subsumed into Soulframe, and now makes Soulframe videos. That's what Sarah Loves Archery's channel is about, and she is delightful. She is the absolute polar opposite of the hey guys toxic masculinity bros with the backwards baseball caps guys. She is delightful and charming and extremely knowledgeable and well spoken, and just a delight and a pleasure to listen to, and has a very well done guides. She is probably the first officially recognized creator in the Soulframe community by DE, which, as we know from other games, really leans into the creator community stuff and really is good at doing that. So she's got shout outs from them. And the funny part is, and this is something I confess that I had suspected at first, the community manager of Soulframe is a young woman named Sarah. And when you hear, so Sarah on the YouTube channel, Sarah Loves Archery, it never appears on camera. She doesn't show her face. She's just the voice in the background. And her voice and Sarah from DE's voice is quite similar. So I and 1,000 other people were like, is this just Sarah, the community manager from Soulframe? What is this? This seems like some kind of AstroTurf kind of thing. And she's eventually had to clarify, no, we're different people. This is not the same person. And Sarah from DE actually said, they made a joke about it on a stream. It's like, yeah, we'll do a collaboration one day because, they actually spell their names differently, thankfully.
Yeah.
So that helps. But yeah, she's actually I have recently joined her Discord server, and she's actually in her FAQ, is this just Sarah from DE? She's like, no, I'm a different person. This is not, we just sound slightly similar. That's it. I'm not Sarah from DE. And she does give some, and what got me suspicious that she wasn't was she does offer some criticism of the game in places, and seems to have either insights or a lack of insight into things that Sarah from DE would or would not have. You know what I mean? She'll give you I don't know if this is the case or if this isn't the case for some game mechanic that Sarah from DE would definitely know, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, no, they're actually different people. So I wanted to make that point before anybody goes there. It's like, no, Sarah Loves Archery is an independent creator who is not working for Digital Extremes, despite the fact that she sounds a bit similar. Her voice sounds a bit similar to Sarah from DE. So I just wanted to make that point. However, it is one of the better like video game creator community channels that I've ever found, and it's delightful, and I look forward to every video that she produces. So shout out Sarah Loves Archery, and it is a panacea. Every time I see a new Sarah Loves Archery video out, I'm like, yep, this will be a pleasant thing to watch. So there we go. There's my coping mechanism. So yeah, that's that. I think we're probably good to move on.
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay. We are going to take a quake. Good Lord. First flub of the podcast. I'm doing so well.
Your brain wants to, it's just trying to speed it up by merging words together.
This is my problem.
A quick break is a quake.
I'm trying to talk too fast.
Yeah, I think it's a perfectly reasonable word.
We're going to
take a quake?
Is a quake. We'll start a new language. That's it. That's how memes start, right?
Portmanteaus, baby.
Okay, anyway, we're gonna take a quick fake break. That's the problem right there.
Yeah.
And we will be back. Make sure my fingers on the right button. Buttons on the right finger. Same joke as always. And we will be back with the Puppet Pit.
You have entered an alternate dimension, a dimension of fleece and fur, of foam and industrial adhesives, so I hope you have good ventilation. A signpost up ahead. Watch your step. You have just stumbled into the Puppet Pit.
Welcome to the Puppet Pit, where we talk about the puppet side of Operation Puppet for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I don't know whether we drove this point home at the top that much, but this will be the last episode of the year. So, what I usually do, and I think we talked about this last time, I honestly don't remember because my brain leaks. In December is when I usually stop building for the year. Ordinarily, I will prototype new things. That's not happening this year for various reasons. But so the last week is basically been me on kind of sort of vacation. So there's only been one build since the last podcast. However, it was a good one. It was the Sasquatch for a client with a Blink Mech, live hands, and was well received. And so that went out, and yeah, so that's the building is done for the year is what it comes down to. Let's see. I'm reading the show notes to see what I talk about next. Good things. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. The year-end wrap-up and what's ahead. Good point, Kevin. Thank you for pointing that out in the show notes that I wrote earlier.
Excellent.
Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm doing for the rest of December. Is I'm kind of planning stuff for the next year. Now, as we talked about before, things are kind of changing slightly in that I'm going to start investigating some possible other sources of income because, yes, the business is still not doing well because of the economic state that we are in. That's nobody's fault. Well, it is somebody's fault, and they're orange. But nevertheless, it's nobody's listening's fault. And that could turn around. Who knows? But at the moment, it's not. And I, of course, have bills to pay. So I'm going to be looking at some possible like part-time employment and stuff like that in the new year. So things are changing a little bit. The puppet builds are continuing, all of that stuff. All the build streams are continuing. I did a final build stream week before this one. So last week is how the way that a normal person would say that, I guess. Good Lord. Anyway, and it was good. It was well attended, and everyone showed up, and it was all nice. And we got to say, goodbye to 2025, I guess. Wow, what are numbers? I can hear sirens. Can you hear sirens?
A little bit.
Okay. Anyway.
But I hear them in my neighborhood too. So
we're in Toronto, so sirens all the time. So yeah, what I'm going to be doing in the next year, and this is the thing I think I missed talking about in the last podcast that I intended to talk about, was the fact that the Pixels and Puppet stuff that I had originally separated out from Operation Puppet because it was more about the tech and gaming stuff, I'm integrating back into Operation Puppet. It just, because I personally am consolidating, basically what it comes down to now. It doesn't really make any sense to split the party, as it were, anymore. And one of the ways that I'm kind of justifying this in at least my head is I'm shifting the focus of Operation Puppet a little bit. One of the things that I had always intended for Operation Puppet, and this is just something that didn't end up playing out, was that it would grow beyond just me. It would end up being like a collective, and I'd bring other people in, and there'd be other creators and that kind of thing. Now, this was before the pandemic hit, and then the pandemic hit, and everybody was isolated from everybody else. So the trajectory that took was just different, and not because of any intention, just because of that's the way that the fate rolled the dice, and that's the way the dice came out. So, and that's fine. But because of that, Operation Puppet as a kind of quote unquote brand, is pretty generic, right? It's just like, here's Puppet stuff. Nah. And that is not really serving much of a purpose anymore. So what I'm going to be doing with Operation Puppet, and nothing, the name isn't changing, it's still Operation Puppet, but I'm going to sort of refocus Operation Puppet to be kind of centered around me and my stuff. I'm putting my face, as it were, on Operation Puppet a little bit more. And because of that, that's one of the ways that I am sort of reintegrating Pixels and Puppets back into Operation Puppet. It's because this is basically just like my stuff and the stuff I do. It all can be related in some way, but that's basically it. It's just the umbrella that everything that I do lives under. So
that makes sense.
So all that's really going to change in terms of, like the person listening to this or watching my videos or stuff like that. It's like the banner on the YouTube thing is going to change a little bit. I'm going to do some new photography with like me and Frankie and the Oracle on it. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm rebranding slightly to focus more on me and not just on generic puppet stuff. Right.
Right.
So I'm going to create a tagline that's just like, one weirdo and some puppets or something like that. This would have been rolling around in my head. And I think that's probably a good angle because like it sort of personalizes it, right? It makes it less abstract, less generic, and more personal. I like that quite a lot. So that's kind of it. And that's one of the things I'm working on during the break is doing, all of the assets and the photography and all of that stuff for the new quote unquote new Operation Puppet.
That sounds good.
Yeah, so that's it. So basically, all of the stuff that was like, so if you're on PeerTube or the Owncast server for the live streams, nothing's changing because all that stuff is kind of integrated anyway. It's all one thing, and so that's fine. Anything that's connected to the Fediverse, nothing's changing. For the YouTube and Twitch channels, basically the Pixels and Puppets channels for that have stopped. They're dormant. Everything that was being posted on there is now being posted on the main Operation Puppet channels, including the game streaming, including all of that stuff. The video version of the podcast is going up on the main Operation Puppet channel, which is actually good. It's getting some views now, believe it or not. Just like it never got before on the Pickles and Puppets channel. So that's good.
Weird.
Yeah. What do I know? It should never have been there in the first place. It was a mistake to do that in the first place, basically, is what it comes down to. And I'm just course correcting now. That's what that is. So, yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of what we're looking forward to in the year ahead. The build streams will continue. In fact, it's probably going to be like more stuff in general. Like hashtag content is probably going to increase. It's not all necessarily going to be just puppet stuff. but that's fine. That's
But the puppets of 2026 are going to be 30% zanier.
I can't promise zaniness. However, this is something I did not put in the show notes. Just yesterday or possibly today, I don't even remember. I did in fact finish actually physically writing, like typing out the script for the season finale of The Oracle, which I will be shooting next week. So yes, there will be one final Oracle episode next week, and it's going to be quite something, at least in terms of the scale of The Oracle. So
it's going to be an entire rendition of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
The Pirates of Penzance. No. I am the very model of a modern major general. Oh, God. I can't do that. I almost did that, and then I stopped.
Way to set yourself up there.
Wow. Don't do that. Anyway, yeah. So there we go. That's what's coming up. Stuff is happening still. So again, the build streams will continue. I'm not sure. Like, I've actually got a bunch of commissions already for January, which is great. So
that's good. Yeah.
That's still gonna happen. Stuff is still happening. Not a whole lot in terms of the end user is changing. And in fact, if anything, you're just gonna have more me. It's what it comes down to.
It's always been you. That's the thing, is you're the centerpiece, and it's good that you're going to be more upfront.
It feels really like
going to help with the brand.
I try to not be egotistical, and because like, what the hell have I got to be egotistical about? But like, you kind of just got to get it in front of the camera and not worry about it. Basically, it's what it comes down 100%. To, right? So,
no, it's going to be good.
It's a hard thing to get over, but once you do get over it, it's kind of liberating. So that's good. Anyway, so there we go. That's what's happening. That's the last puppet pit of 2025. Woo! That was a lot. I'm not even sure where I am in the show notes here. Okay. Right. We got more stuff to talk about. I hope you have some things, because my voice is starting to go.
Oh yeah. We got stuff.
We got some stuff. Okay, we're going to take a quick actual break while I go and fetch a throat lozenge or 3, and we will be back with Pixel Town. The sky above the port was the color of a YouTube video locked behind 17 unskippable ads. Around the rainy streets, people dodged out-of-control robo-taxis and shot down delivery drones carrying $50 burgers. Here we fight the corporate ecologies and get excited about avoiding our phones. Welcome to the mean streets of Pixel Town. So this isn't in the show notes because it just happened like this morning for me, but I made the mistake of updating my phone.
Oh God.
This fucking liquid glass bullshit that Apple has done, and they announced this like last year or something. It was like, it was a
they
while
were so
ago.
proud of it.
It's terrible. It is so bad. The joke I keep making is literally, it looks like the shit that I was churning out when I was first learning Photoshop and got a pirated copy of Kai Power Tools. It is amateur level bullshit. It is the worst design language I have ever seen. It's terrible. Don't fucking I'm stuck with Apple for a while, unfortunately. If you don't, it's bad. It's all bad. Anyway, good thing they have all the money.
Well, most of it.
Well, there's still, hey, Apple Intelligence is still in beta. So,
I'm still willing to give Apple a pass as long as they keep throwing money at shows like Foundation and Pluribus, which is turning out to be an incredible work. So if they take some of those
3 people with integrity left at Apple. So,
right. And they all work for Apple TV, thankfully. Yeah. So, but it's if you haven't been watching Pluribus, it's an It's a great show. It's just as good as everyone says, and it's worth watching as it goes on. I mean, it's weekly. I've said it before. I'm a huge proponent of weekly television. I mean, yes, it's probably because I'm old, but it keeps the conversation going for the 8 episodes that the shows go for now in a season. So we can relish it and enjoy it instead of have it all dump on you at once and expect you to watch 8 hours of stuff just so you can have a conversation about a show.
I think the narrative is probably shifting on some of that stuff where like, because the awareness is starting to happen that the whole like binge watch, talk about it, move on is part of the the content fire hose thing that they quote unquote they want. So now there's pushback against that, right? And then it's good. That's healthy. It's a good place to be. So
yeah.
Anyway, we're just gonna barrel on with the list as is because it's got a good order. So here we go. Hey, I played a video game and it wasn't Warframe.
That's impossible.
It's
Kevin
related to Warframe.
It's its brother, yeah. Sister? Cousin?
The funny thing is it's only okay, so yeah, we're talking about Soulframe. So Digital Extremes, the company that makes Warframe, and has made a couple of games before that. But Warframe is, of course, the big thing. It's the thing they're known for. Has been for the past few years working on a new game, which is kind of a big deal for them because they're a relatively small company, and for them to kind of go all in on another big title is a huge commitment for them, and it was a big restructuring of the company literally to get this done. So, and the interesting thing about Soulframe, now as you can tell by the name, there is some kind of lineage between Warframe and
connective
Soulframe.
Tissue.
Yes, but it is very much, as you would guess from the name, a Souls-like. But it is in the Warframe model of, well, not even. I'm going to say it's not quite, because although it is like the way that multiplayer works is instanced in the same way that Warframe is, the world itself is basically a big seamless open world. Or at least it is so far, we don't know, because it's currently only in alpha. It's been a couple of years in development, so they are now starting to open it up to more and more people. Now, my history with Souls-likes is not good. I have tried to, and I understand why people get into them and enjoy them, but it is just not something that has ever worked for me, just because I can't stand punishing gameplay. I can't stand gameplay that like throws roadblocks in your way and forces you to bang your head against them until the wall breaks or your head breaks, right? That's the kind of gameplay of a Souls-like for me, and that's never been something I've really particularly enjoyed. However, because it had such a good experience with Warframe, I was kind of more willing to give Soulframe the benefit of a doubt. And also because, like, let's face it, they want to appeal to a slightly wider audience than just the Souls-likes, because that's a real hardcore group, right?
Yeah.
So, and because they're going with another free-to-play model like Warframe, they kind of need to make it a little bit more open and flexible and you able to progress without just constantly dying over and over and over again. So I thought, if any company, because my experience with Warframe has been so good, if any company, and I know what their design philosophy and what their approach to game design is going to get me to like a Souls-like, it's probably going to be DE, because they've just done such magic with Warframe that I'm like, okay, I'm willing to give this at least a chance. And also, I will say that, like, my experience last year with Dragon's Dogma 2, which was a real, eye-opening kind of me pushing back against my own instincts, was the thing that kind of made me go, I mean, it's the thing that allowed me to get into Warframe, for example, because I was able to kind of break out of my own habits, right? And so things that I would ordinarily bounce off of and never touch again, I kind of pushed my way through that, and that was a healthy thing to do. It has opened up more gaming possibilities for me than I had before, and that's a really nice place to be. So that's one of the reasons why I was kind of interested in Soulframe to begin with. Now, a while ago, I got a key from a Twitch drop from one of the dev streams, because they regularly show up on dev streams, wherein if you've linked your Twitch account, you can get Twitch drop, and you can get a key, and you can join the pre-alpha, which is what it's currently in. So over the past few weeks, they have launched the founders packs. Now, this is a thing that they also did in Warframe, wherein it's like for all the early adopters, here's like it's a paid tier kind of thing, wherein you get a whole bunch of stuff that you get in game, you get a head start, as it were.
Automatically win PvP.
Well, no, that's the one of the things that D has always been good at, and this includes with both Warframe and Soulframe, is it's never been pay to win. It's always been like pay to skip, as it were. It's paid. You're going to invest. If you're not going to invest money, you're going to invest time, but you're going to invest something, right? So the paid part of the free to play stuff in DE's mind is always about just like cutting down the time that it takes you to do something. And that is kind of the same place that they are with Soulframe, except for in Warframe they made a big mistake when they did their founders stuff. And this is kind of the first big controversy in DE. And this was the moment that they kind of learned and course corrected for the first time. And that actually ended up being in such a good place that the community came together and went, okay, they fixed this. That's good. Let's give them another chance. And they really learned from that experience, because their first founders packs for Warframe were really expensive and didn't offer much, and offered this was the first Prime, which was Excalibur Prime. It's a whole other thing. But when they realized what a mistake they had made, they fixed it. They literally stopped the ability to buy those founders packs. And so anybody who bought the original founders pack for Warframe is like a fucking legend now, because they have Excalibur Prime. If you ever are in Warframe and you see an Excal Prime, that is an original founder of Warframe. There will never be another Excal Prime in Warframe. There's a limited number of them, and that's all there will ever be. And that's kind of a big deal. So anyway, they have learned from that experience. When they launched the Soulframe's Founders Pack, they made sure that nothing in the pack was unobtainable in game, except for this one item. And as a founder, what you can do with this item, it's a great sword, just FYI, but you can actually give another player like a piece, like a shard of this great sword, and they can make a copy of it, but that copy of it will always have your player name on it. So it's like Excalibur or something, right? It's that the sword will be named after you kind of thing. And that is fucking awesome. Like, that is just the
good idea.
Best way to handle that kind of thing. Anyway, so they launched these founders packs. And of course, me being in a financially tight position, I had to sort of think about it quite a lot. Now, I missed the boat with the Warframe founders. I would fucking kill to have an Excal Prime now, but that's never going to happen, obviously. So I'm like, this is the chance to get in on the ground floor of the next thing, right? This is it seems like everything they're doing with Soulframe is going to be they're working their magic again, like they did with Warframe. Maybe this could be a thing. This is my opportunity to get on the ground floor. So I did some math. Sales were unexpectedly had a little jump at the last moment for the shop. So I'm like, okay, I can swing this, but just. So I ended up buying one of the founders packs. So I am a founder in Soulframe, a game that won't release for probably a couple of years yet. So,
yeah. It's good to get ahead of the curve.
But the good news is it's another DE thing. It's like I cannot, like, saying it's a Souls-like is reductive in a way that is does a disservice to what the game actually is. it is impossible to describe Soulframe. It's DE doing DE weird shit again. It's like, it is unlike anything else. I cannot draw comparisons between this and any other like genre or like there's a heavy dose of almost like Brothers Grimm fairy tale-ness in it, but there's a bit of steampunk. It's all just like, it's DE doing DE weird shit.
That's excellent.
And yeah, so the core gameplay is very much Souls-like, and again, it is very much a work in progress. Like, they're changing core game systems on a weekly basis, right? So it's like, this is still in development, but this is the opportunity to kind of get in here and help shape what Soulframe is going to be, and that's really cool. And just knowing DE the way I do know them, I am completely confident that they're going to make the right choices in the end after a lot of experimenting, which is the right way to go. So there we go. I've been playing quite a lot of Soulframe, and in fact, I'll probably be streaming some soon because we have like the clearance to do that. So
you can't stream an alpha. That's illegal.
There's enough there. So right now it's called Soulframe's Preludes because that's kind of what they're calling their alpha.
Smart.
And it doesn't take place in the entire world. It takes place on like one island of what's eventually going to be the whole world. And there's, there's a limited amount of stuff to do. And there are a couple of endless modes where you can just, grind out stuff. So that's cool. And it's such a neat thing. You can sense, you can feel kind of some of the underlying tech is shared from Warframe, and importantly, the engine is the same as from Warframe. We'll get to that in a minute, because the fact is, like, it runs really, really well and looks gorgeous on not like most up-to-date hardware. Like this runs pretty good on Steam Deck, let me tell you. So that's a good approach to take, particularly now, as we will talk about later. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be another strange and unique thing like Warframe, and I'm excited to get in on the ground floor of that. So there we go. Now, the super exciting thing is, as a founder, I have a bunch of keys I can give away, you see. So
I don't have a key.
If anybody wants in on the Soulframe Alpha, I can hook you up. So
yeah, I think I might need to get in on that.
We can make that work. I got like 10 keys or something like that.
Oh, excellent.
A whole bunch of. Also, this weekend, if you hook up your Twitch account to the Play Soulframe Twitch account, they're doing a whole bunch of Twitch drops on the weekend for and for the creator community. So you just have to watch somebody who's streaming Soulframe, and you can get a key as a drop. So yeah, they're trying to get.
It's a smart way to do it.
Yeah. Okay, that was a lot of words. So yeah, I'm playing Soulframe, which is of course related to Warframe.
Well, you also pulled me into No Man's Sky, as we have established.
Yes.
And I did finish Titans as well, so now I have a Wraith.
Excellent.
Did it turn out that you had run Titans originally?
I didn't check, but it sounds familiar.
That was the reward. Was the living ship? The jellyfish looking ship.
No, I've got that.
Okay, good.
It's weird. I'm not sure I like it.
It is odd. Yeah, no, it's very powerful. So I'm happy to have it, but it's the whole this system of the catch up on expeditions is interesting, because it's like every 2 weeks it's a full reset basically. Yep. But they also put you in media res, so you've already got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can just dive into the story. So now it's the one where you do fossil hunting.
Oh right. You know what? I haven't done that one. Maybe I should probably do it.
Yeah. I don't know what the final reward is, but
if I remember correctly, it wasn't overwhelming. That's probably why I passed on it. But...
I'm just happy to be in it, and enjoying it. And I've also got it set up so that I've got the cross saves turned on.
Excellent.
So I can now play it on PS5 and on the Steam Deck, which I will be bringing with me to Halifax.
Very good.
So I'm gonna be grinding a little bit of No Man's Sky while I'm home.
Do
or
you
not
have a main save and a separate save for your?
Yeah, I've got separate saves from each of the expeditions because my
Right.
plan is once I've caught up on the expeditions, I'm going to run a new a fresh one
Right.
because I never did a complete from the
From
start.
zero
And
starting
now
run.
that
Yeah.
because I'd like to do the full experience, even though it's effectively been spoiled by having access to like the anomaly and stuff like that. But I would like to see how it plays out in that respect.
It's a
And
valuable
it's
experience.
good stuff.
It
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
It is very, very good and refreshing to actually go back and start with like zero and like,
Yeah.
because
Crashed on a planet.
the
Boom, boom.
expeditions really do give you a leg up. So
Yeah. So, it's been interesting because I did have to basically fully relearn how to play the game. And it's funny how many dumb things there were, like even just the build system. It was like, I don't know how to do this. And,
yeah,
it's press up, dummy.
that was probably
it's-
added like since you last
Oh,
played. That's
way
probably
long.
new.
Yeah. The easy access to like, even just calling your ship is easy peasy.
Yeah.
So, it's very satisfying.
What we should do is, because you can add like, we're on Steam friends and all that kind of thing, but you can actually add like a No Man's Sky friend thing. We should hook that up
sure.
because that
Because
would
I've got
easier to play
multiplayer.
together.
I got multiplayer turned off for now, but
Right.
because the first expedition I ran when multiplayer was on, and there was just a lot of other people, and I'm like, well, I shouldn't be seeing all these people around. That was always my issue with multiplayer in that game as it is, but it was a survival move. I mean, in order for that game to truly blossom, they had to let you play with friends.
Oh yeah,
and I respect that, and I respect the fact that you don't have to do that, but it's still satisfying as hell. It was on sale at GOG, so I was able to pick it up cheap on GOG. Lowest price it's been at, it was like 27 Canadian.
yeah.
I think,
It's
when
kind
I
of
bought it.
amazing
It's a
that
good
you can
price.
pick up a game that big with that much gameplay in it, and like,
You know what else is $27?
huh?
Is Guild Wars Reforged.
That's true.
So
I was
that.
thinking of picking it up, but then I realized, oh, hang on, you know what? We're about to hit the holiday season here. I'm having Christmas at the in-laws, and one of the things that is on my list for the in-laws to always get me, because I don't know what the hell to tell them. What do I need? Is a Steam gift cards. So I've probably got some Steam gift cards coming at some point. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait at least until Christmas, because then I could just probably get it with my Steam gift card. So
Yeah,
but I am definitely
nowhere.
getting it for sure.
Yeah, no, it looks great. It's also nice that we're getting this podcast out of the way before the cursed Game Awards next week.
Oh Lord!
I will say, it's been interesting how many games have had trailers come out in the last 2 weeks, in the last week or so. Just it feels like a lot of companies are getting it out of the way because they don't want to, because you would get lost. Like they announced a Carmageddon reboot, I guess. Reboot. And it looks like fun, but it's something that might have been noticed during a major show like that, or it probably would have been swamped by all the other megaton announcements that are coming.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will mention is somebody built, I guess you could call it an art piece in the desert near Joshua Tree. It looks like something out of Diablo.
Yes.
But they claim it's not, but they also lie to your face about these things. But it looks very cool, and people are going out to it and taking pictures. And Jeff Keighley shared a picture of it, so that's what set everybody off, and all the speculations going ape shit over what it could be and what it isn't. But it's fine. I have a feeling that the assumption was that it was going to be the Diablo expansion. And it still might be just related to that, or they might say, "Fuck it, we're going to D5." Who knows? I mean, it would be unlike them to do that. It would be weird, but the way they're talking about it, it sounds like it's a big.
It's also Microsoft desperately flailing around trying to find something people
that's
like,
it.
right? So
the opposite of Destiny. Like, instead of announcing Destiny 3, they're just going to keep going. But some people have speculated that it could be related to Elder Scrolls 6. But even Bethesda suggested that's still a couple of years away. But anyway, or it could just be a whole new expansion, a whole new show, a whole new game, whole new reinvention of gaming as we know it.
Things. That's
it's
impossible.
Gonna crack open. It's going to crack open. Hideo Kojima's going to come out of it and say hello, and everybody will
Jeff
lose their
Keighley
minds.
a hand job right there. That's how it's going to work.
So good times.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, so we
I'm
won't get to do our breakdown of that.
I'm kind of glad because I'm avoiding that bullshit like you wouldn't believe. I got nothing good to say about the Game Awards.
No, it's definitely run its course.
And I even know that like Warframe is going to announce something at the Game Awards, and I still am not going to watch it. So that's how much I fucking hate that shit. So.
No, it's nice that DE's at least getting a lift from it.
Yes,
you know, like people are happy to see their stuff show up at these major shows, and they're getting respect, which is excellent.
Well, and it's wild to me. This is a good segue into our next section, anyway. So we might as well just keep going with this. It's wild to me to think that like the last, therefore, Game Awards was when Rebecca Ford came out and talked about Warframe 1999. That was the last Game Awards a year ago, and that feels like for fucking ever ago now. Like 1999 has become such an integral part of Warframe that it just feels like it's been there forever. And it's so weird to think, no, it's been a year.
And obviously we here on the pod have been massive supporters of DE and what they stand for, and we've said it time and again how they're standing out amongst in a crowd of corporate bullshit, and these guys are delivering good quality games, and they're putting giving a lot of people a living making games, and people who don't have to worry about getting congratulations on shipping your game, you're fired.
Well, yeah,
that system cannot continue. And they're saying that based on the deal that Saudis are going to own 92.5% of EA once it's done. It's like, God bless, have fun, guys, because everybody should just walk away from it.
And they're all in on AI. Hey,
of course, it's going to make things so much easier. Like, look how much faster we can pump out Call of Duty now that we use AI. Anyway, that's hitting the usual stuff, but you should probably talk about your current
So speaking of DE, so this is the thing, we keep going on about this, but it does bear repeating that like in a climate where all of the things that are competing with Warframe are in crisis, right? Warframe is thriving. Now, why? Right? Like, what's the difference between those two things? And it really is the approach of the company and the community that's around it. That is entirely the difference. It's how they view their game. We've talked about this tons. It's like DE cares more about sustainability than they do about infinite growth, et cetera, et cetera. They care about the community, and they really honestly do care. Like, the people who make the game also play the game. Like, it's all of these things. They've done the shit the way the shit should be done. And that's rare. It's sad that it's rare, but it is rare. It is a thing that we don't see very often. So Warframe, yes, continues to be excellent to the point that I have finally, and long last, after a lot of thought, released my first produced Warframe guide. I did it. We shot a thing for Pickles and Bobbits about me doing it. Now it is a guide for people who like, you kind of have to know Warframe a little bit at least to understand what I'm doing in this guide. But it is for newer players. It's a technique that I have for getting some slightly hard to get mods that you definitely want as you move into end game. But the important thing is that this is the first kind of like produced, like edited video. Like this wasn't something that I did on a live stream. I shot this specifically for this, and it is my first kind of move into doing, hashtag content for Warframe stuff. So that was fun, and it's up on the YouTube and PeerTube channels right now.
I apologize, I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but
you wouldn't get much out of it because it's making references to things that you don't know about yet. So
I actually now that I'm probably not heading out west for Christmas, I'm gonna almost definitely play some Warframe the holidays, so we will definitely get online and do a little stream.
In relation to that, the Warframe clan, the Pixels and Puppets Warframe clan, the official Warframe clan of Operation Puppet, hey, suddenly experienced an explosion of membership.
Oh, that's excellent.
Which is like, oh, it was unexpected. It's just one of those weird things where it's like, I happened to like bump the post on the official Warframe Discord at exactly the right time, and somebody saw it, and then we joined the alliance, shout out Sanctum Eternum, which has continued to explode in growth, I must say. The actual core clan that's behind Sanctum Eternum just hit 1,000 members. Hello, big. And they've now merged two alliances together into one. Like it's getting big, which is great because the people who run it are really thoughtful and good at what they do and have good intentions for everything. And we are happy to be a part of that. And they're very active and very sociable. So it's all really good. And so we got a whole bunch of like new people into the clan. One or two of whom are veterans, but one or two of whom are also relatively new to the game and are just starting to work their way through it. And one of the things that we're starting to work forward to is like me helping these people because I am more or less an advanced player, I guess. It's only been a year. This is the weird thing. I've only been playing really for a year. And nevertheless, it's become this much a core part of what I do that I can confidently guide people through at least some of it now. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing with the Warframe clan. So there are literally the way that the Warframe clans work is there are tiers, right? And the tiers are dictated by how many members each clan has. And much like everything else DE does, when they do like, this is like a guild system, they don't just do the guild system and go, oh, it's like a chat channel you can have, which is what most guild systems are, right?
Yeah.
No. You've got a dojo, which is like it's kind of like player housing, but it's like a building basically that you can go to. That's your base of operations. And in that dojo are research labs. And in those research labs are blueprints. And those blueprints are things that you can only get from clan dojo research labs. And they are weapons, warframes, equipment, gear, you name it. That's that. And a lot of those things are things that you can only get there. So you have to belong to a clan to get some of these things. Thankfully, it's really easy. There are a lot of clans who don't give a shit if you participate or not. They've maxed out all this stuff and you can just join them and they don't care and you can just get the stuff. So it's not hard. It's not like gatekeeping it for people. You can, if you want a clan, you can find a clan, believe me, who isn't going to require anything of you. However, there are also very social clans like ours. So we have a dojo, and one of the things that how the research labs work is you have to spend resources in order to research the blueprints to be able to make the copies of the blueprints for yourself so you can manufacture these things. So there are research tiers. And the way that the clan tiers work is at the lowest level, which is like Ghost Clan, that's between 1 and 10 members. And your research, if you're at a Ghost Clan level, costs X number of resources. If you then upgrade your tier, which is then I think between 1 and 100 members, all of your research costs like increase exponentially with that. So, which makes sense. And this is such a thoughtful way of doing it because it means that small clans between 1 and 10 people can still get all of their shit done despite the fact that they're only between 1 and 10 people, right? That's a really, really good and democratic way of handling it. It scales to how many people are contributing to the clan.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's a good system. It sounds like a reasonable system.
This is DE all over, right? This is them like
Yeah.
putting so much thought into it that it just like when you actually see the system and all of the gears turning together, it's like, oh, this is brilliant. How does this not work like this for everything, right?
Or you could just buy research coins, which are only 300.
Believe it or not, well,
simoleons,
okay, you
which
can
are-
you can actually speed up the research if you spend platinum, but don't ever do that. That's
Yeah.
a stupid thing to do. Anyway,
The option's there.
the option is there, but again, you're going to invest something. If it's not money, it's time, right? So that's how it works. Anyway, so we are still at ghost level. So we have currently 8 members in the clan. There are 2 slots free, and then we cap out, right?
Oh,
Now,
okay. Well,
the
I guess,
smart thing to do if you are a new clan is to keep it small, to stay between 1 and 10 members, get all of your research done, then expand, because then it's
Right.
cheaper, right?
No, that makes sense.
So that's kind of where we're at now. So there are literally 2 free slots in the clan before we have to cap out and either decide, okay, let's go up to the next tier, or we end membership.
Yeah.
So, if you want in, now's the time to
No, it's
join.
it's good to have a push.
It's a really good and thoughtful system, and I like it a lot. I mean, I funded most of the research myself, and we've almost capped out. I mean, we have capped out all of the really important stuff. And now we're just working on the kind of more loose, frivolous stuff that are just kind of fun to have. But all the stuff that you need to have, we've got already research done. So that's cool. It's good. It's everything about this is good. It continues to be good. It's weird that it continues to be good, but next week is a big week because the next huge expansion for Warframe is dropping on the 10th. Yes,
Yeah.
the day before the Game Awards, which is not a coincidence.
Mm.
We're getting a new Prime Warframe. We're getting the next expansion called the Old Peace. There's a new quality of life stuff. There's new arcanes. There's new just like they're doing DE. They're cooking again. I cannot believe the cadence of updates that we get of substantial updates too, not just like something frivolous, but like important things that people care about and use several times a year. Like I've only been really playing for a year and there's been several of these. It's wild. But that's happening on the 10th. So I will probably be streaming a whole lot of Warframe coming the 10th because there's a whole lot of big stuff coming, including several new Warframes. We're getting new proto-frames. The Devil's Triad is released. They're going, hey, Kevin, you want this. The Devil's Triad is like the new series of proto-frames, one of which is a new Warframe that is like, they're kind of Catholic coded is the way I'll say it. It's like, there's a whole lore thing I could go into, but I won't. I could, believe me. But the new Warframe is called Uriel, and he's literally like the devil. He's a devil themed Warframe who has little imp minions, and I'm like, fucking give me now. What do you do? What? Yes. So yeah. Anyway, that's coming on the 10th. So, wow, a lot of good stuff is happening in the Warframe world, and they're really leaning into like the upsurge in player count has again never been higher than it is right now. They've got the buzz, they know what they've got, and they're really leaning into it, and good for them because they deserve it. So there we go. Good things are actually happening in the video game world. However, meanwhile, ... Oh boy, where do we?
I don't understand how this came out of nowhere.
It's because the GPU thing everybody understood. Like yeah, GPUs are used for AI, whatever.
Yeah,
But the RAM thing that has happened over the last few weeks
right.
came out of nowhere, and obviously somebody saw it coming. But for something that's just it's a crucial component. Oh, fuck you, Andrew. It's a crucial component of your PC, but it's something that we always kind of gloss over. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get
Yeah,
64
RAM, whatever.
gigs of
Yeah,
RAM.
RAM. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
now
the least exciting part of the build, right?
it's like if you want to put 64 gigs of RAM in a new system, it's going to cost you 250% more than it did 2 months ago.
Yep.
Which is insane. And the fact that Crucial announced, is it Micron announced that Crucial
Micron.
is ending.
Yep.
The third arm of consumer grade RAM.
There
is
are
gone.
literally 3 companies that make RAM. One of them is now exiting the consumer market.
Yeah, it's just absolutely stunning, and it opens up a lot of questions in terms of, is this truly what they want? Do they want to end PC ownership? And just everybody just has a slab that talks to an AI, and that's it.
I think quite literally that is part of it. Like, I think Steve from Gamers Nexus, I think we did link to the video about this, that Steve, I'm a late appreciator of Gamers Nexus, and I wish I wasn't, because I would always look at the thumbnails before and go, nah. But Gamers Nexus do good work, let me tell you. But Steve is usually relatively chill, and
he tries to be
kind of quippy and sarcastic. He's pissed. He's just fucking lost it. He's fed the fuck up, and
it's on full
be.
grift mode.
And I think he brought up a good point that I hadn't actually considered, which seems weird because I should have thought of this before, but it's like, no, actually this seems right, about the consolidation of power. What they're doing is taking the ability to have compute power away from people and concentrating it in data centers, so that you do not own compute. This is the thing. All the cycles that run on a CPU, if you can't build a CPU, but they can put it in the cloud and sell you a service, where that's where you do your compute, you stream your video games, you stream your movies, you stream everything and pay them a monthly fee to do so. You don't own your stuff at all, anything anymore. And if you take compute, the key is to take compute away from people and concentrate it in the corporations.
We had never taken it seriously before now that was the actual goal. I mean, when they started offering GeForce Now, where you wouldn't buy a video card, you would basically rent a video card on an hourly basis. It never made sense to me on a business level that they could run that at scale, and that was all before AI exploded.
Mm-hmm.
So they just kind of did a side move, and I'm sure that they're really half-assing GeForce Now, despite the fact that that's obviously where they would like things to go. But with the fact that even Nvidia a week ago said, "Oh, by the way, we're not going to sell you a card anymore. We're going to sell you the board, and you have to put your own RAM on it." Like, they knew where this was going.
They did.
It's just insane, and it's happening so fast. Is the part that's dizzying, like the speed of this.
Yeah.
And in an organization or in a world that's usually so slow to change, the speed of this has been dizzying. It's you don't know how to process it. Like, the fact that you walk into a computer store now and you want RAM, they don't even post the pricing. It's so dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Pop the friggin' chips off? Like, it certainly looks that way. It's like you got guys in the back that are desoldering RAMs from old cards and video cards to resell to AI developers. I mean, Jesus, you would think that they would just produce more, but there's just such an unstoppable.
They are producing more, but all of the demand. This is one of the things that, like, Crucial. This whole, like, the ending of Crucial and Micron shifting focus from the consumer to corporate. This is an illustration of exactly what Steve's point was, that it's because they don't give a shit about consumer. The consumers don't make the money. It's the growth industry is in corporate. And the thing that, again, Gamers Nexus has illustrated really well, and people like Ed Zitron have illustrated really well, is what's happening is this circle jerk of money, right? This this circular, insular, contained system where like companies sell things to other companies, and that's what's creating the shareholder value, which is the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. And so the rich people, think they have created the perfect system. They have created a system that doesn't need the poor people to put their labor into things. That was always what the downfall of capitalism always was, right? The fact that it was built on the backs of the poor. So the poor have to do the work, and then the rich benefit from that work. They think they've now got the system that allows them to bypass that. They do not need the input of fresh things, of fresh labor, of fresh money, of fresh anything. They can just create this closed system that loops around and do without us entirely.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, they got another thing coming, because that's not how like reality works. But
No.
No,
especially when they think they're going to be able to flip a switch and have everybody paying them $50 a month for access.
What again? This is always the downfall, right? It's like the shareholder value goes away the second you need an input from elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
And when everybody's fired and nobody has money to put into the system, where does the new capital come from? Where does the new investment come from? Right? There is no. It then becomes a stagnant system.
Yeah, and so the other thing I noted in the show notes is the fact that this RAM problem has become a huge issue for hardware developers. A bunch of handhelds have already been paused, shall we say, and are likely going to be just canceled outright, like in the handheld gaming department. You know, the One X, I think it was the one that I linked to. It's the Apex, the One X player Strix Halo Apex, which was like a $2,000 unit.
Right.
And they already increased the price. On November 27th, they increased everything by $200 because of the rising DRAM and SSD
Jesus
prices.
Christ.
And they gave people 96 hours to stick with the launch pricing, because that was going to go up. And now they've paused the whole thing because they get it out. And so now the speculation is on Valve. You know, how much RAM did Valve buy for the Steam machines and all that stuff? Because I'm sure they were very aggressive and got a lot of hardware, but once that runs out, that's going to be
if you want a
conversation.
Steam machine, pray you get one early, because
well, even then, I mean, I think they're just going to have no choice but to jack up all those, because that's why they're lucky they didn't commit to a price, because now they can say, oh, we were always going to charge you $1,000 for that. So I don't know. It's
bad.
It's hard.
There's nothing good. It's all bad.
Yeah.
Like, and
it's hard.
It's not just the RAM thing. It's everything. Literally, it's everything other than motherboards and CPUs is affected. So like video cards, DRAM or VRAM, the flash RAM that goes into SSDs and NVMe drives. That is the next thing that's going to explode in price.
It's hard not to counsel somebody to just say buy something right now, because Christ knows what the price is going to be in 2 months, let alone 6 months. And on the other hand, fuck it, just stick with what you got. And, you know, and people are complaining, as we've mentioned many times, if that new version of Windows is running like shit, it's time to take the jump to Linux.
Oh, we got a point to come to here. Don't worry about that. So we'll follow this up with the whole we kind of already covered this, but like the Warner Brothers thing.
Yeah, the game
is yet
side
another, like, because Warner Brothers is actually also a big game publisher, and they're now going to be owned by Netflix. Again, more consolidation of power. It's just the same bullshit that we see for all of the other things. One company, or all companies become one company, and everybody else gets screwed over because of that. So this will inevitably end in more firings, more closings of studios. You know, it's the same story that we've been used to.
I was reading about Deadline's article about the Netflix buyout, and there's no mention of the gaming side of things, which is interesting. So I would have to assume it's part of the Warner side and not part of the Discovery Plus side.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
But-
well, because I saw the article from a tweet from Jason Schreier, so I'm
Yeah.
sure this will be like a gaming thing as well. But yeah, that trend continues regardless of AAA gaming as we know it or have known it is pretty much done. It's all done, and this is. You can look at that in a bad way, and it's not great, believe me, and particularly if you are like a person who was in game development. Boy, do I ever feel for you, because as somebody who is also in a quote unquote industry that has suffered under the current economic conditions, let me tell you, I understand where you're coming from with the whole this shit should pay the bills and now it doesn't, because that is absolutely happening a lot to a lot of people. In fact, most people, and that's the problem. But what this means, and this was kind of the point I wanted to bring us to for my at least final thoughts on all of this, because boy oh boy, it sure does seem like everything's terrible and there's you can really focus on the doom and gloom. And I'm not saying that's not happening, because it absolutely is, and you should be aware of it and know what's going on. But I think there is not necessarily a positive spin, but at least an approach you can take and an understanding and a path forward. Because I think, at least for me, that the worst outcome or the worst feeling from all of this, whereas Steve from Gamers Nexus was eloquent in saying it perfectly. It's they don't give a shit. We have no choice, right?
Yeah.
That is kind of where we are. It's we have no choice. Well, do we not have a choice? Because that's not necessarily true. And I think this is where we, as the little people, as the poor people, as the people who are the people on the outside of this money circle jerk, right? This is the agency that we do have. One of the things that this whole system has been predicated on was the idea of infinite growth and the infinite upgrade cycle, right?
Yeah.
That has been the model, the Moore's Law thing, right? That has been the thing since computing started. That's over now. That's just done. And they, the bad guys, the rich guys, think that they figured out a system wherein they don't need that to be the case anymore. That, of course, is a fallacy and will inevitably fall apart. The question is, what do we, the little people, do in the meantime? Right? Because we still have a life to live. We still have to get by. We still have to do things and communicate with each other and have some form of recreation and all that kind of thing. And so what we are seeing, and this is not a pie in the sky dreamy, oh, I'd like this to be true. This is happening now, is a turn towards alternatives, which do and always have existed. I'm just an early adopter, and I'm not even the earliest adopter. Lots of people are way earlier than me. I'm just a canary in the coal mine kind of thing, right? There are alternative software choices, and the ability to you can't buy new hardware. You literally if you can afford it, it's unavailable. Right? That's where we're heading. But what that means is you still need to communicate. You still need to live your life. You still need to do things. So it means that you have to. You do not have a choice. You have to keep your existing hardware running for longer and useful for longer. So that conglomeration of keeping old hardware running for longer and looking for alternative software solutions, because as hardware gets priced out of the lower end of the market and software becomes increasingly enshittificated and becomes only able to run on newer hardware, hello Windows 11, then that means that all of us, the giant seething majority that is left behind, has to do something else. We don't do this because of ideology or ethics or an idea of some form of perfect future or anything like that. We do it because we have to.
Yeah.
There's no other choice. It's not that we want to run Linux, for example. It's that what else are we going to do? I got to keep my laptop running and Windows is not supported anymore. And if it were, it's a shitty thing that I can't use. Right? Like this is where we're at. We are at the no choice point. So the only path forward for the little people are keeping your hardware for longer. Retro tech. You think retro tech was big before? Let me tell you, baby, it's about to get much, much bigger.
Yeah.
But that, if anything, I think you should take some hope in, because there are so many people who can do that and who are good at that. I mean, if you want inspiration, look at fucking Adrian's digital basement. Adrian's keeping computers that are like 30, 40 years old running, right? Like this stuff can still be useful much, much past their supposed expiration date. All of this can be done and it is available for you. You just have to do something. You cannot rely on the systems that we've had to move us forward. We have to move ourselves forward. And not, again, because of ideology or because we're like trying to achieve something. We are just trying to live and there is no other choice. That is where we are.
Yep.
So, I mean, I know it's not great, but at least it's something. It is a path forward. It is not a brick wall in front of us. We have a choice.
Yeah.
It is only one choice, but it is a choice, right? So that's my final thoughts on the 2026.
Yeah, no, I'm
Where
definitely
we're
in the same boat. I mean, I've been half considering upgrading my system for a while, but it still runs just as well as the day I put it together, and I really don't think it's worth spending the money. I mean, I don't think a CPU upgrade for the board that I've got would be a really notable improvement. So
And
I
this
haven't
is
been
the
playing
thing.
anything that.
We are the gamers, hashtag gamers are at a point that like we're so used to like, oh, we need those more 10 frames per second kind of thing, right? That we're willing, but we can't have that anymore. It's not available to you anymore. Like that's not the model anymore. The model has to change.
Yeah.
And I think like, for example, I've been posting on the Operation Puppet on Gizmo Town that Bazite, the Linux distro, posted a week ago that in the last 30 days they served 1 petabyte of ISO data, which is people downloading Bazite to install on whatever. That's when around the time that the Gamers Nexus first video came out, and Gamers Nexus chose Bazite as the distro that they were going to do Linux benchmarking on. And the impact of somebody at the scale of Gamers Nexus should not be overlooked, because they're big. They're one of the biggest. And when they go, fuck it, we're going to try Linux, and they have a good experience with it, people listen. And that's one of the reasons that Bazite passed 1 petabyte of data served in 30 days for the first time ever. Well, just over a week later, Bazite has now served 2 petabytes of ISOs.
That's a lot of petabytes.
The rapidity of that scaling. Think about that. Like 30 days to a week. That's wild.
It couldn't have been done without without the amazing work from Microsoft and fucking up so egregiously.
But
Honest to God,
this is
that was
it.
the catalyst.
When you look at like,
You know?
because we're getting big, like Linus Tech Tips and
Yeah.
Gamers Nexus, they're now everybody is going, what the fuck do we do? Because they have forced out like the mainstream is always the last thing to fall, right? Always. That's now falling. That is the point. So that's the thing that is hopeful. It's like when the mainstream, when people like Gamers Nexus are benchmarking Linux, there's a seed change happening. There is a core fundamental thing that's changing. I'm not saying the vast majority is suddenly going to run Linux. Of course not. That will never happen. But this is the foundation upon which we build a new underground movement. That can happen, and it's not just can happen, it's happening. It's happened already. It's there and available to you. It's always been there waiting for you. So that's kind of cool, actually.
We're going underground in 2026.
So that's kind of the thing. It's like, you know what? I know it's harsh and it's hard and everything looks terrible, but god damn it, if anybody can make it cool, we can.
Yeah,
That's where I'm going with this. How's that? How's that a way to end?
That's an excellent way to end the year.
Okay, I think we'll probably, unless you've got anything else, you got.
I'm good.
We're good. Okay, where are we at here? Hey, we're almost exactly at time. What do you know?
Excellent.
How's that for the final podcast of 2025? Thank you, Andrew. Of course.
Thank you, Kevin.
We had quite the ride this year, but we are going into 2026. Fucking cool. That's where we're at. So, okay. OperationPuppet.com for all of the links. All of the stuff will continue. There will be more video gaming streaming, quite a lot actually upcoming over the next couple of weeks. So if you like my face, get ready for a whole lot more of it. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I can press the right button here, and we'll catch you next year.
You have been listening to Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast. Visit www.operationpuppet.com for all our links. Tell your friends, give us a rating wherever you get your podcasts, and join us again because nothing is more entertaining than aging nerds giving their opinions on the internet.